All right, so the name of this is Waking Up to the Truth of What It Means to Claim Colorblind. Apartheid is in the past. The Holocaust is in the past. The lessons from these experiences are in the present. These lessons are the gift we have been given in the present to build a better future together. When white women say, "I don't see color, we are all the same," it is because we have not lived in a black skin. It's easy for us to claim we, quote, "see no color," thinking that it makes us, quote, "good people." A black mother knows that if a white mother adopts a black or brown child and does not give her child the talk in America because the mother claims she is, quote, "colorblind," she would be clueless of the history that built the systems her baby is growing up in. She would then be surprised after her child dies in the hands of the establishment. It is time, mamas and papas, for us to see colors, and it is time for us together to rise. In my suit of white skin, I have the option in 2025 to tell others whether I am Jewish or not. My white skin would not have protected me and did not protect my ancestors from the gas chambers or the firing lines of grave ditches dug to pile the bodies of the ones shot down in 1935. Or, sorry, it was after 1935. In 1965, the skin that covered me afforded me the protection that would have gotten me shot down merely 30 years before in Germany. In South Africa, it offered me privileges codified by law. The South African government picked up the baton after Hitler killed himself in 1945. It was not as if apartheid did not exist before 1948. It was just that in this year, it was now made the law. Unfortunately, born into a body that is identified as girl, the color of my skin did not protect me from being on the perceived weaker side. As part of this female tribe, I was not required to learn the language my people used to talk to what I was told is, quote, "my God," as if there is more than one. As a teen, I took a test. I was told, "You are not university material. You should consider secretarial school." God knows those skills could probably serve me now. But the fact I was dismissed merely because I am not of the male gender did not occur to me, even though I had already written an article that got published in the local newspaper about how men and women should not be treated so unequally. I had always questioned the systems. At 8 years old, I asked my mother why blacks and whites were treated so differently. "There was a tug of war," she replied. "The whites won," she said. How unfair, I thought, and the seed of injustice was planted. It was not long after that when I moved to America. It was a bit of a rocky journey through the education path after a seed of doubt so strong about my lack of ability had gotten planted. The problem was not that some random old white man had told me after some ridiculous aptitude test that I was not university material. The problem was I kept watering the seed. I let the slide take hold, and it required I strap on my seatbelt once I sat in the driver's seat. The road got rocky because despite the voice that was now in my head, it was battling the one in my belly, the soul voice that lives inside each of us that knows the truth. I would go on to fall, to fail, and that voice from within would rise up and demand, "Get up!" It would say, "Move forward. Prove him wrong." I spent years, decades actually, in this fight. Along the way, I graduated university cum laude. I passed the California bar the first time. I became an advocate for victims, working as a deputy district attorney in Los Angeles County, feeling like an imposter the whole time. It was only when I learned to look in the mirror and truly see me, the seed of my soul within, did I remember who I was born to be. White people, black and brown, it's time for us to open our eyes. It does not matter where we are on that line. Without us both, there would be no rainbows. For those of us who were given the gift of sight, it is 2025. With 2020 vision, a man named George Floyd was murdered in broad daylight because of the color of his skin. And black and white mamas, it is time to come together to bring down the systems that have separated us. Look at the seeds we are planting in our babies. And it is truly time for us to all open our eyes and rise. Tash, over to you, baby girl.
Okay, I'm not gonna cry.
Wow.
Her story. I know the firsthand, the lasting evil of discrimination, a spirit that took root in the mid 19th century and has been plaguing us ever since. Racism has evolved. It is no longer just about the color of the skin, it is a spiritual trickery, a seed of fear that has grown into the systems, the mindsets, and the behaviors. It's no longer just black and white, it's about the condition of the heart. As a child, I was colorblind in the purest sense, innocence without judgment. But my reality would soon be disrupted. You see, my help didn't come from my community, my mother or my father. It came from a village of teachers who didn't look like me. Those early experiences, they taught me that what I faced wasn't always racial, it was energetic. The pain didn't just come from white people, it came from Asian, Hispanic, Muslim, Caucasian, Black individuals who tried to break my spirit. They knew me and they colluded. This wasn't just discrimination, it was negative energy that weaponized against my light. And yet, I still say my first love was my teachers. When racism hits home, it wasn't until the death of my firstborn son that I encountered overt racism and discrimination in the workplace. 24 years of dedicated service, undone in moments by the spirit of prejudice and disguised as professionalism. That loss triggered another level of grief and opened my eyes. Let's talk about the word discriminate. The word discriminate originally came from the Latin discriminator. It was discern, to recognize, find differences. It was once associated with good judgment, refinement, and taste. But after the American Civil War and into Reconstruction, its meaning shifted. By 1866, in the American English, discrimination began to represent the distinctions of prejudice rooted in race, gender, and religion. It moved from discernment to division. And by the mid 20th century, it hardened into a systematic prejudice. The fear of another's advancement became law, policy, and oppression. But God has not given us the spirit of fear, but the power of love and a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. We are tired. We, the people, are tired of division, chaos, race baiting, and the false narratives that distract from real progress in diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. We are exhausted by hostile work environments, drenched in the emotional and psychological race-based trauma. The threats to our livelihood have cost us our mental wellness, our physical health, our financial futures, our joy, and work-life balance. just fighting bias. We're fighting for our lives and the lives of those coming after us. But guess what? God law still reigns. Yes, Civil Rights Act of 1964 made discrimination illegal in public places and employment. But long before that, God's law reigned. He said, be loved. Let us love one another, for love is for God. That's in 1 John 4, 7 through 12. We are commanded to love, not label. We are called to unite, not divide. A vision for healing? No, we can no longer sustain a multiracial or multi-ethnic society by simply shifting preferences from one group to another. That's not healing. It's not. That's recycling injustice. I mean, we must move beyond those boxes and those binaries. Let us no longer identify God's people as black or white, but as brother, sister, melon rich or melon light. Let the children lead us because they don't see those categories. They see us as pink, peach, fair skin, light brown, dark. They see what many of us have forgotten, that we are all just different shades of the divine image. God's art is humanity. And I leave us with this quote. You cannot remedy the preference that whites had in our nation's life with different preferences for different ethnic groups. That cannot be how a multiracial, multi-ethnic nation maintains its social fabric. That was quoted by Edward Bloom, and goodbye to affirmative action.